Before I start the video, actually, promise yourself that you're gonna watch the entire thing, because if you don't and you just click off at 2 minutes because I'm not talking about exactly what I did at the first 2 minutes, then you're just a fucking Jeffrey, because you can't keep your attention span on me. But anyways, if you actually watch through 3 minutes, and you'll see that I've actually started to tell you how. So don't just click off of this video because I'm only talking to you like this right now. For a majority of my life, as a young little ambitious man, when I was a kid and 13 and 14, I've always wanted to be I've always aspired to be those big bodybuilders and those aesthetic guys doing calisthenics, these cool moves and shit. And so I would talk to my parents and stuff about it, and everyone would be telling me, you're too young. You can't build any muscle right now. You're too young. Your testosterone level's too low. You're too little. Wait till you're 14, 15. So I listened, and eventually, I had enough of it. And so at the beginning of my ages of 13, I started to work out. Okay? Everyone around me still telling me, oh, you're not going to gain any muscle. You're not even going to be able to get a six-pack. You're not going to be able to get that lean. You can't do this. You can do this. You can't do this. And let me tell you right now, that is the biggest, fattest fucking lie that you can hear from anybody, because it's quite the opposite. Especially when I first started working out, especially at 13 and 14, I've gained something around 40 pounds, 40, like a 40, in 2 years. Right now I'm 158 empty stomach. I was around 120 to 130. So that is about 48 to 40 pounds I have gained in 2 years as a teenager. So if they were right, and if their hypothesis of you can't gain muscle right now, you're too young, your testosterone's too low, if it was really right, would I be at 165 right now? No. But I am. And there's only a couple of things that you really have to pay attention to when you're a teenager trying to bulk up and get muscly and get big. It's not that hard. The first thing that, of course, no shit, is training. So there's a couple of things that you could do. And there's 3 things. One would be weightlifting. Basically moving a weight through space. 2 would be calisthenics, which is moving your body through space, which is push-ups, pull-ups, squats, etc. And then any martial art. You'll gain muscle, but not as much as these other 2. Martial arts is more of just fighting and just a skill in general. So the first thing that you want to focus on is to make sure that you are training correctly. And yes, there's a wrong way to train. We all see those fucking people in gym class doing push-ups like a fucking dolphin. Of course, they're not gonna make any gains. So you have to make sure that, one, you're doing it right, your form and how many you do, etc. And that you're not gonna underdo it. You can't really overtrain, but you kind of can. As long as you rest enough, you can't really overtrain. So what this means is, let's say I max out push-ups this day. Tomorrow, I'm gonna be weak. I'm gonna be sore and weak. Okay? And on that day of tomorrow, if I do it again, the next day I'm gonna be even more weak. And if I do it again, I'm just gonna start breaking down my muscle, and I'm actually gonna start losing weight. But if let's say today I did the max push-ups, then I rested this day. I hit like legs or something instead. The next day, if I do it, I'll be fine. I'll actually start gaining muscle, and then I rest, and then do it again, rest, do it again, rest, do it again. And then undertraining. Okay, so undertraining is something I used to heavily do. It's kind of in the name. You can probably already guess what the fuck it is. Undertraining is where you train less than muscle hypertrophy. Muscle hypertrophy is basically the point where your body is forced to build muscle. So this is me like half-assing push-ups. So my max is probably like somewhere around 30, 40. I'm doing like 10. And then call it a day. So obviously that's undertraining. The next thing that you might want to worry about is your diet, because if you are sitting down eating Doritos and cookies and cake, you're not gonna gain any fucking muscle. Your diet is like 70% of your physique, but it's still a secondary, because if you just have a really good diet and don't train, then you're not gonna gain any muscle. So your diet should probably consist of mainly like meat, maybe a little bit of vegetables, a little bit of fruit as like a pre-workout or something. Carbs, they're not really that important. Fat, okay. Fat should be your number one energy source. And you've heard of like saturated fat, polyunsaturated fat, monounsaturated fat. They're all like bad for you. Fat is bad for you. Fat-free milk. Bro. Let me tell you, that is also one of the biggest lies that you have ever fucking heard on the face of this planet. Fat is what we have ran off of for 50,000 fucking years. It's actually a lot more healthy for you if you don't want brain fog. If you want energy and you eat fat, you're gonna have a lot more energy the next day rather than if you eat carbs. And when you eat carbs as the energy source, what happens is it kind of like clogs up your brain. That's why a lot of people have like memory disorders, dyslexia, ADHD. I want to say ADHD, but like just brain fog in general. Like they can't focus because they've probably had a big old carb meal of like fucking cake and shit. So your diet, just eat enough protein. If you want to gain weight, eat a bunch. If you want to lose weight, eat till you're still a little bit hungry. That easy, really. So for like protein, you should probably be eating like 1 gram per pound, but you don't have to like measure it. Just make sure you're eating fucking healthy, and make sure you're eating like meats daily. And you know, like nuts and berries and fruits are also very good for you. Okay, and the last, like, most big important thing about actually like gaining muscle and no shit, Jaden. Okay. The last thing is sleeping. So you want to sleep a fucking lot, especially if you're a teenager. One, you automatically need more sleep than like an adult or something. 10 hours, like minimum. Then when you're training, your body has to do all sorts of other shit and like build muscle, and it needs more time and it needs more rest. So you should probably be sleeping from like 10 to 11 hours per night in order to get this amount of sleep. I'm only saying 10 to 11 hours is because time in bed does not actually equal sleep. You should be getting a certain amount of like sleep and then REM. So in order to get like enough REM sleep, basically like deep sleep, is when all your like tissues are like getting bigger and stuff, is to -2 hours to your sleep. See, so you go to bed at like 10. In order to get 8 hours of sleep, everyone's gonna say, wake up at 6, wake up at 6, wake up at 6. 8. Because it takes a lot longer for your body to get your heart rate lower and to actually fall asleep. And then same with waking up. Your body slowly wakes up, so that REM sleep is only down here. And you go like this, You only skim it for a minute and need to go back up. In order to get the most, you have to go to sleep way the fuck earlier. And then, I know it's like a stupid fucking diagram, but like still, sleep is very important. Rest, okay, like rest in general. So rest days, I more take as cardio days. So as a beginner, you're gonna be like very sore for like the first 10-15 workouts, and it's just gonna be like a whole fucking hellhole for you because you've barely ever worked out in your life. So in order to gain the most muscle and to get through all that is to have a lot of rest days. Only work out like every other day, 3 to 4 times a week at first. Then once you're like starting to really get used to it and you can work out without getting sore at all, and bump it up to 4, 5, 6. But if you want to do another like combat sport or something, I only work out 4 days a week and then boxing 3 days a week. But these 4 days I do double workouts, so it kind of like works with me. But still, as a beginner, very important to get like at least 2 rest days a week. Your dopamine receptors are also very important too, which means you have to sit through and watch me drink some water. Alright, rest. More about rest. Is when you're resting, it should more be cardio, because cardio is also very good for you. All these fucking bodybuilders and shit saying, oh, cardio kills the gains. Third biggest fucking lie in this video. Cardio can actually increase your gains by massive measures, because it does a couple of things. One, it increases cardiovascular, your veins and stuff. You're gonna make you more veiny, and plus you're gonna start losing a little bit more weight. And who doesn't want to eat a little bit more? You're gonna lose some calories. You can eat some more calories, especially if you're like bulking. You're gonna be way more hungry. And who doesn't like eating? I do. The fuck. Okay, and it's just a lot more healthy for you. Your heart is gonna be a lot more healthy, because that's when your heart rate goes like really, really high. So when you're like working out and lifting weights, your heart is going to be able to maintain that heart rate throughout the entire thing without getting so tired out. All right, that's a small video actually. Thank you for watching. Quote: you can't overtrain, but you can under rest. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. Mwah.